When web novel or webtoon fans mention the term Holy Trinity, they are usually referring to either these three characters or to the web novel or the webtoon where they belong to. But what exactly is the Holy Trinity? And why are these three called as such? Well, actually, there is no official definition and explanation behind it, since it's something declared by fans. It's unclear from where this trend originated from, but it's very likely to have started in South Korea, since these guys are characters from popular web novels in that country after all. According to this website, majority of South Koreans don't actually have a religion, but among those with religion, most of them are Christians. So I suppose it's not a surprise that many fans of these web novels are somehow already familiar with Christian terms, such as the Holy Trinity. But for the sake of those not familiar with Christianity, and for those who don't know about these characters or the series they belong to, in this video, I'll try to explain them in the simplest way I could think of. Now, about the Holy Trinity in Christianity, let's first look into each word. The word holy is defined as something with divine quality or is simply sacred, while the word Trinity in lowercase refers to a group of three or a triad. It's also defined as the state of being threefold or triple. But if we are talking about the Holy Trinity, it's more than just a divine triad. There are actually various interpretations of it, but it's generally defined as the existence of one God in three equally divine forms, particularly the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. In other words, they are three distinct persons, but all of them are God. And that's the gist of it. If you don't understand, that's fine. It's an idea that is known to be very difficult to understand anyway. Now, to differentiate the two types of Holy Trinities, this group I'll call the Christian Holy Trinity. Then this trio I'll call Fandom Holy Trinity. For the sake of those not familiar with these guys, let me introduce to you Kim Dokja, or just Dokja. Then we have Cale Henituse, or just Cale. And lastly, we've got Yujin, or just Yujin. Dokja is the main character of Omniscient Reader, which is also known as Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, or just ORV for short. In ORV, an apocalyptic fantasy web novel with a gaming system suddenly became reality. Dokja is the only person who has read the novel until the end, and that gives him the advantage since knowing the novel's story would be the same as knowing the future, but surviving isn't as easy as it appears. While Cale is the main character of Lout of Count's family, which is also translated as Trash of the Count's family. It's called LCF or TCF for short. I'll use LCF. So in LCF, Kim Roksoo woke up in a fantasy novel but in the body of a minor villain named Cale. If the story's events will push through, he is destined to be killed by the novel's protagonist. So as Cale, he makes necessary changes to the course of the story to prevent his death. Lastly, Yujin is the main character of my S-Class Hunters, which is also called the S-Classes that I raised. The series title is usually abbreviated as TCSTIR, but that's kinda long. I'll just call it as S-Classes for short. In the world of S-Classes, people with superpowers are called hunters, and there's a classification among them. Yujin is an F-class, which is the weakest class. But when his S-class younger brother died protecting him, Yujin goes back to the past in order to reset his timeline. The Fandom Holy Trinity technically refers to these three fictional characters. They are the main characters of these novels, which are very popular in South Korea. ORV is the most popular among the three. All of these web novels got adapted into manhwa or comic format. All three webtoons are already available in English. The English versions and other language translations helped in boosting their popularity to an international scale. Because of that, they are now not only popular to South Koreans but also to fans around the world. The international fans also use the term Holy Trinity to refer to the three as a whole. Now, if we use the Christian Holy Trinity concept on the fandom Holy Trinity, it will be something like this, I guess. The three of them are certainly not each other. But, since they are fictional characters, they're not exactly God, of course, at least in our world. There are actually characters who somewhat worship them in universe, and I've heard that they've become something godlike in their stories too. And believe it or not, there are fans who sort of worship them. There's even a term for worshiping Cale. It's called Caleism. Anyway, just don't take the worship stuff too seriously, okay? That is not the intention of most fans anyway. So I hope you don't become disturbed by the devotees. But if you insist on believing them and you live in a free country anyway, feel free. Instead of God, maybe considering them as the same ultimate main character or MC would be more appropriate. Or we could see this Trinity in another perspective. So instead of using the Christian Holy Trinity diagram, perhaps it will be easier to see them in this way. Dokja is different from Yujin and from Cale, but Yujin is also different from Dokja and Cale. Then Cale is different from the other two as well. Thus, these three are very different from each other. But actually, they also share plenty of similarities. Although attained through different methods, all three of them know about the future. Because of that, they are usually the ones with a plan and act as the commander or strategist of the group. Although they are the leader, their companions are actually way more overpowered than them. The comrades that they've gathered are the ones whom they trust and treat as family. There are even kids in their group, and they treat them like children of their own. All three of them also have at least one baby creature, which they consider as their child as well. They treasure their newfound family so much to the point that they are willing to sacrifice themselves to protect their loved ones. It's kinda ironic since they've been working very hard to survive and are actually afraid to die. Well, because of that, words like sacrifice and suicide have become associated to them. Seriously, they do it so often that it's hard to keep count of how many times they almost died. One of them died for multiple times even. Because of that, seeing them cough up blood is the norm. It's crazy. Since these troublemakers tend to expose themselves to danger, the characters who care deeply for them have become overprotective. They like it better if the MC is just locked up somewhere so that they don't need to worry. It's clear to everyone how loved these guys are. But these idiots are often too dense or in denial to notice or acknowledge it. Although they claim to be selfish, they do so many selfless acts. They also deny being heroes, even though they have become the savior of the many characters who look up to them. They've become so special, especially to certain characters, that they've become someone delicate that needs to be protected. characters in their world love them so much that they are willing to do anything for these MCs, including dying for them. It's devotion to the highest level. While in our world, there are plenty of fans who are quite obsessed with them. It's like a religion. It's like these three are seen as sacred beings. No wonder the word holy suits this trinity too. Wow, these three guys are so shockingly similar. They are like brothers separated from birth. Or perhaps they even share the same soul. Or they are actually three forms of one being, hence the Trinity. Despite their many similarities though, these three and their respective fantasy series are still very distinct from each other. This guy has been making changes to the story in order to see the ending he wants, while this guy has been tasked to raise S-classes in order to save the world. Then we have this guy who just wants to have a slacker life. In regards to their respective series, one of them is Isekai, then the other is reverse Isekai. The last one is somewhat like a reverse Isekai too, but it's not based on a novel. You might find similar supporting characters from one series in another, but you won't be able to spot any clones. Every character is so unique that you can't easily find copies of these characters from other series either. And although these three share plenty of the same tropes, none of them really present nor execute such tropes in the same manner. They each have their own style. They each have their own charm. Anyway, these three titles have their own group of fans. Readers who love what's common among the three would of course end up as fans of all three titles. A crossover of the three series would be a dream come true. For certain, a lot of fans badly want it, as shown in the numerous crossover fanworks out there. If ever these three meet or have lived in the same world, they would most likely be best friends or rivals. They would either get along so well or will fight against one another due to some misunderstanding. Because of that, fandoms of each of the three series treat each other as brothers and sisters, fans being united by the Trinity. Amazing, huh? Unlike how Christians speak about the Holy Trinity, fans of the fandom Holy Trinity actually have various ways to show their adoration towards them. Sometimes this adoration is in the form of insults. It's crazy love towards the frustrating yet lovable dorks. It's their fault for being such experts in making us entertained and miserable at the same time. So, if you have not yet read any of them, I strongly encourage you to check it out as soon as possible. Besides, we've gotta complete the Trinity, right? As you read the story of each series, you won't feel like they are copycats of each other, despite their striking similarities. They are incomparable to one another in that sense. It's quite hard to believe, but I'm sure you'll somehow get what I mean as you read more chapters of all three titles. But if for some reason you didn't like the other titles, that's totally fine. I would like to believe fans of these series are the types who would respect everyone's opinion. So, for the titles which you ended up liking, please try your best to spread the love and peace. So in summary, these three are not the same and the same at the same time. Wait, what? That's almost as confusing as the Christian Holy Trinity. But I think this video should have somehow helped you understand what I meant, as well as in understanding the fandom Holy Trinity in general. Right? Well, I hope so. There's more to tell about the Trinity. The similarities of the trio, which I have mentioned in this video, are just the tip of an iceberg. Moreover, there are other characters from other series which fans treat as part of the Suicide family. So to be notified of new releases, please subscribe. And for more videos like this, likes and shares will be highly appreciated. If you have suggestions on what you would love to see about the Trinity, just let me know in the comments. I already have existing videos related to the Trinity, so you might want to check them out too. See you in the next video. Take care!